Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about the various measurement of inductance bridges. Those are Maxwell's inductance bridge and Maxwell's inductance capacitance bridge. Now, in today's class, we shall discuss about the measurement of inductance using the Hayes bridge. So, one of the disadvantages of Maxwell's inductance capacitance bridge is in the fourth arm, you are using a variable capacitor there. So variable capacitor will be of having high cost. So in order to overcome that disadvantage, you are using here Hayes bridge. So in this Hayes bridge, you are using a standard capacitor in the fourth arm. This is not a variable arm. This is a standard capacitor which is not varying. So that disadvantage can be overcome here. Always remember one thing, that is unknown inductance will be is placed in the initial arm, in the first arm only. Okay, so this is the first arm. So the Z1 is the impedance of the first arm, that is Z1 is equal to R1 plus j omega L1, and Z2 is equal to purely resistive, that is equal to R2. Z3 is equal to, it is also purely resistive, that is equal to R3, and Z4, these two are in series. So for capacitance, the reactance is 1 by j omega C4. Series means plus R4. So Z4 is nothing but R4 plus 1 by j omega C4. Now if you apply the balancing condition, so what is the balancing condition? The product of opposite arm impedances is equal to product of the remaining two opposite branch impedances. So that means Z1 into Z4 is equal to Z2 into Z3. So now by substituting all these values at balance, the condition is Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3, where Z1 is equal to R1 plus j omega L1, Z2 is equal to R2, Z3 is equal to R3, Z4 is equal to R4 plus 1 by j omega C4. Now substitute all these four in this balancing equation, then and also by equating the real parts, you will be getting the resistance R1, unknown resistance R1, and by equating the imaginary parts, then you will be getting the unknown inductance L1. So these are the two values. So now if you observe, the resistance will be having the omega term here, and inductance also is having the omega. Omega is nothing but angular frequency, that is equal to 2 pi f. So that means it depends on the frequency. R1 and L1 are depending on the frequency. Whereas in case of Maxwell's inductance capacitance and Maxwell's inductance bridges, there is no omega term over in those equations. So only the advantage of those bridges is nothing but it is independent of frequency. But here it is dependent on frequency. That is the disadvantage. But advantage is here you are using a standard capacitance, whereas in Maxwell's inductance capacitance bridge you are using a variable capacitance there. So this is the advantage here. Now coming to the phasor diagram. Phasor diagram can be drawn when E1 is equal to E2 and E3 is equal to E4, and E1 plus E3 is equal to total voltage E. Because always these equations should be same for all the bridges. So by using those equations only, you need to draw the phasor diagram. First, what is E1? E1 is equal to R1 plus j omega L1. E1 is equal to I1 into R1 plus I1 into j omega L1. So consider I1 as the reference vector. So I1 as the reference vector, I1 R1 will be in the same phase. So this is the I1 R1 vector, and j into I omega L1 means j represents 90 degrees. So you need to draw a perpendicular line to I1 R1. So this is the I1 omega L1 line, and by adding these two vectors you will be getting E1. So E1 is equal to E2, and E2 is nothing but a purely resistive component, that is I2R2. So I2 will be say in same direction as E2 only. So this is will be I2, and so I2R4 will be in this direction. Next, the sum of the voltages E1 and E3 will be giving you the total voltage E. So now this is E1 and E3 is nothing but a purely resistive term, that is I1R3. So I1 is in this direction, so I1R3 will also be in the same direction. So this is E3 is equal to E4. So the sum of E3 and E1 will give you the total voltage E. And also the sum of E2 and E4 will be also equal to total voltage E. So this is how you need to draw the phasor diagram. And if you want to represent the capacitance value also, so I2 is in this direction, minus JO represents 90 degrees. So you have to draw a vector in the 90 degrees, I2 by omega C4. Then the sum of these two will give you the E4. So this is how you need to draw the Haze-Bridge phasor diagram. Next one is Anderson bridge. So this is the Anderson bridge. The advantage of Anderson bridge is you can calculate the value of any small inductance also. Any small inductance value also you can find out the using the Anderson bridge. So this Anderson bridge it consists of 5 nodes. Apart from the other bridges, the only thing is it consists of an extra node here. So that means it is having 5 nodes here. So the circuit will be a bit complex here. The solving of the circuit becomes a bit complex, but this circuit will be useful, will be highly accurate, and the value you can measure any small value of inductance also. So this is the unknown inductance value and unknown resistance. These are kept in the first branch, and this is the R2 is the second branch, R3 is the third branch, and in the fourth one you are considering R4 is the fourth branch, and in parallel with this the R resistance and capacitance are placed here, which is adding an extra node E. Small e is the extra one, and A, B, C, D are the regular ones only. And for the first branch the voltage is E1, and second branch E2, this is E3 and E4. Now this is the Z1. While solving Z1 is equal to small r1 plus capital R1 plus j omega L1. Z2 is equal to purely resistive, that is equal to R2. Z3 is also purely resistive, that is equal to R3. By solving Z4, you need to take the star delta transformation. I am simply writing it as R4 plus parallel of R plus J1 by J omega C. You need to solve this equation by using star delta transformation, and you need to substitute in the balancing condition. What is the balancing condition? Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3. By substituting Z1 Z2 Z3 Z4 values, you can find out the and equating the real parts and imaginary parts. You will be getting the unknown resistance R1 and unknown impedance unknown inductance L1. So these are the equations. And coming to the phasor diagram, this is E1. The equations which you need to remember while drawing the phasor diagrams are E1 is equal to E2, E3 is equal to E4, and E1 plus E3 is equal to total voltage E. So these equations are must and should you need to remember. Without these equations you will not be able to draw. So first, what is E1? E1 is nothing but I1 R1 plus I1 small r1 plus I1 capital R1 plus j omega L1. So first draw I1, I take I1 as the reference vector. So I1 R1 will be in the same phase as it is a resistive element. I1 into small r1 plus capital R1 plus j omega L1. So j represents 90 degrees. So you need to draw a perpendicular line. It is nothing but I1 omega L1. So sum of these two vectors will be giving you the voltage E1. So by that you are getting the total voltage E1. And next E2 is nothing but I2 into R2. So this E2 will be in this direction. It will be less than the magnitude of E1 here. You need to remember. This is because of the extra node added here. So E2 is equal to I2 R2. So as I2 is a resistive term, the I2 will be in the same direction. If you resolve these into two components, IC which is the perpendicular component and I4 will be the resistive component. So I4 will be in the same direction. I4 R4 will be E4, and the sum of E2 and E4 will give you the total voltage E, and the sum of E1 and E3 will give you the total voltage E. All these four should coincide at a one point, that is nothing but the total voltage E. And the E1 E3 is nothing but I3 R3, which is in the same direction as I1. So I1 R3, that is equal to IC by omega C. IC is in this direction, IC by omega C, that is J represents 90 degrees, so you have drawn in this direction IC by omega C. So this is how you need to draw the phasor diagram. And the advantages of Anderson bridges are, so the bridge uses fixed capacitor, because of which accurate reading is obtained. So you are not using any variable capacitor, you are using a fixed capacitor. By that the accurate reading accuracy is more. And the bridge measures the accurate capacitances in terms of inductances. And the disadvantages are, it is having an extra node E, that is small e. So because of that, circuit becomes more complex, and also the shielding of the bridge is also some a bit complicated. So these are the disadvantages. Next is Owen's bridge. So Owen's bridge is nothing but, you can here the first term consists of unknown inductance, second will be a variable resistance and a variable capacitance, and third is a purely resistor, that is R3, and fourth is a purely capacitor, that is C4. And Z1 is nothing but R1 plus j omega L1. Z2 is equal to R2 plus 1 by j omega C2, and Z3 is equal to R3. Z4 is equal to 1 by j omega C4. So now substitute in this balancing condition, Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3, then you will be getting Z1 is equal to R1 plus j omega L1, Z2 is equal to R2 plus 1 by j omega C2, Z3 is equal to R3, Z4 is equal to 1 by j omega C4. Now substitute all these four in the above equation, then by equating the real parts, you will be getting the resistance value, that is R1 is equal to R3 into C4 by C2, and by equating the imaginary part, you will be getting L1 is equal to R2 R3 C4. Here also you can observe that there are no frequency terms. The terms are independent of frequency. So that is one of the advantage. And the other advantage is it can be used for high quality coils. High Q coils it can be used. And now while drawing the phasor diagram, you need to know E1 is equal to E2, E3 is equal to E4. And E1 plus E3 is equal to total voltage E. So first, what is E1? E1 is equal to I1 into R1 plus I1 into j omega L1. So first always take I1 as the reference vector. In the same direction I1 R1 will be here, and perpendicularly j omega L1, that means J represents 90 degrees. So draw a perpendicular line. This is nothing but the I1 omega L1 vector. The sum of these two vectors will be giving you the voltage E1. This E1 is nothing but the E2 also, but E2 is nothing but the I2 R2 plus 1 by j omega C2. So I2 R2 will be perpendicular to I1. So I2 R2 is drawn here, and for this I2 R2 you need to draw plus j into I2 by omega C2. That means you need to draw a perpendicular line. The sum of these two will give you the E2 voltage, and also E1 is equal to E2. And next E3 is nothing but I1 into R3. So I1 is in this direction, so I1 R3 will also be in this direction, which is also equal to E4. E4 is nothing but I2 by j omega C4. So these sum of E1 and E3 will give you the total voltage E. E1 is equal to E2, E3 is equal to E4. The sum of these two vectors will give you the total voltage E.